Good morning, folks. Welcome back to Kayak Fishing Cornwall. Today, very exciting day. You are joining me for the maiden voyage of the new kayak I bought. It's the Hobie Revo 13, supplied by Cornwall Canoes, where they fitted on all the other little extra bits that I wanted, and they've done a really nice job of it, actually. I'm at a familiar water. I'm at Porthoustock, and I'm going to head over to the left. I don't want to go. I mean, the tides are small today and we're on the flood. If I was on my compass, I would nip out over there. But I've just got on this and I can immediately feel the 14 centimetres less width it's got. So I'm going to stick to familiar waters. I'm just going to nip over to the reef on the left and get the feel of this little kayak, little narrow kayak. That's the plan for today. It's just started to drizzle, actually, which is a shame. But there you go. There is a bit of a swell rolling in, actually. It's surprising. Up on the beach, you can't actually see it, but yeah, it's pretty evident down here. As you can see, there's a little less room on this thing, which is going to take some getting used to, but I'm hoping it sort of is, the difference in room is, well, you know, offset in performance. We've got a offshore breeze today, slightly more than I would normally bother with, but it should flatten off, or the sea, it should keep the sea flat, and I'm hoping, you know, we'll see how this thing performs speed wise. You know, if it should be that much more capable, quicker, because it's shaped like a stiletto, you know, to pierce and go efficiently through the water. A little bit more wind should be doable, as long as it doesn't mess up the surface conditions. Yeah, I mean, this is, what am I doing here? Yeah, I'm putting in very little effort here, and I'm doing just over 3 knots. So yeah, it's, you know, this is pretty much standard cruising speed on the compass, but this is taking 0 effort. Well, as much. Yeah, well, enough of the waffle. Hopefully this rain will disappear. Hopefully we can find a couple of fish. I'm going to put some lures out behind me and make my way over to the reef. Yeah, I'm going to have to be careful on this thing till I get used to it, I suppose. Right, got myself sorted. Got my rods in. Trolling. You can really feel, actually, where you're sat. If you're sat a little tiny bit to one side in the seat, you can feel the whole thing cant over a little bit, but that's at the lack of primary stability, I guess, when compared to the compass, but you know, that's what we've got. Just going to pop out to the usual spots on this side of the reef, and yeah, might take a fish or two if I get a fish or two, and I'm brave enough to reach forward and shove them in the bag. I suppose, you know, that's what you get, isn't it? You get used to what you're on, and I've spent 2 years on the compass. This is going to take some getting used to. You know, I've had a couple of relatively slow fishing trips of late. I did notice there was some algae in the water over to, well, when I did, oh, hang on, whee! What's that? That's the, oh! Well, I hope that floats. That's a fish. Feels like a good fish too. Does it come off? No. It's a bass. Lovely. That's a cracking bass, but the observant of you there will notice that my rod holder just went over the side, which is a really awful start. There's loads of fish down here. Wow. Okay, I better have. Sort them. Put this away. That's a big scratch cut on that fish. Put this away. Have a quick look for that rod holder. To me, it looked like it just went straight to the bottom. I can't believe that. Bloody full. I was expecting to have teething problems, but that is more than a teething problem. So I'm going to measure this fish. He is 45. Put that there for now. So that's a 45. He's been beaten up a fair bit, but not as much as he's about to be beaten up now. So I will take a couple of fish today. Let me just sort this one out. Just reeling that other lure in, and so go and find that. Have a quick look for that fishing rod holder. There's fish all over the sounder here. Just turn that on, I think. I can remember out. There it is. Right, a little pollock. Yeah, reeling that in just to get this rod in so I can go and look for that rod holder, and I've got a pollock on the end. Little one, bye-bye. Right, I need to have a look for that because that's a costly error. Right, fishing's off to a good start, but there's no sign of that rod holder, so yeah. You live and learn, don't you? Hopefully, as long as it's a particularly serious lesson. I won't be making that mistake again. I dropped it in the holder and didn't push the button across to lock it in. When I lifted the rod, because I had a fish on it, out came the bloody rod holder and off it went. I'm pretty sure it sunk the instant it hit the water anyway. Still, there you go. Good start. First keeper bass I've had this year. Anyway, so when I do keep fish, which I do, I like to eat fish, I give them a knock on the head to, you know, whack them out, and then snip the gills to get the blood out of the fish. And it does make a huge difference, you know, even a visible difference. So if you fillet a fish that you've bled, it's much paler than a fish that you haven't bled, so it does make a difference. Anyway, I don't, you know, there's no need to show that on camera. So this setup I'm on is going to be listed in the comments below, and also the fishing tackle that I'm using today. So yeah, if you're interested, check out the comments. There appears to be a lot of fish on the sounder today. I mean, yeah, okay, there's quite a few down there. But if there's fish here, there's probably fish a little bit further out. So I'm going to make my way over to that area. Concentrate my efforts over there, see how I get on. I do need to reset my, what's it? Yeah, there's loads on the fish finder. I'm hopeful. Might have cost me a fishing rod holder, but if I can get a good bag of fish today and not go in, not fall in, I'll be happy. Right, first drift, just to kind of see what way we're going. And we got marks on the bottom. And I think that mark might have just come up to have a look at my lure. It did. Yeah, this is nice. We've got perfect direction to run down the marks I like to fish here. So I'm really going to give this area a going over. I'll swap between the lures, see if they are preferring one. So far I've had a fish on each, so there's nothing in it. Right, next drift. Nothing on that one, despite marking loads of fish. Just altered it slightly. Get a little bit of different bit of the reef. Right, I'm going to do a very sort of specific drift here, see if I can get over this one mark that usually shows me fish. Because there's, yeah, again, there's a lot there on the fish finder, but they're not that keen. Well, not keen at all. That was a hit. That's a fish on there. At last. I have my drag really light then. Having said that, this one doesn't feel too bad. Yeah, it's a bad fish. At last, I was beginning to doubt my lure of choice. It's one worth catching, that's for sure. Oh, it's not as big as I thought he was going to be, actually. Still better than I've had for a couple of trips. There we go. Not too bad. We can go back. Let's see if we can do better. Right. Oh, I messed up here. Tons of fish there, but I'm drifting unexpectedly in the wrong direction. Yeah. Oh no, fish. Right, yeah, didn't expect that to happen. Oh, there is tons of fish marking here. So I should have really expected that to happen. Let me get this one out of the way. Oh. Right, see what we've got here. Oh my god, that fish is alive with tiny. There we go, another little pollock. Come on. Hordes of fish. Right, I have now got a weedless storm biscay shad in mullet colour. Because I went all through there with that sardine coloured one and didn't even get a knock. So I'll swap it out, give it a go with this. Got one or two more I'll try if I don't get a touch on this. I would love to get a pollock worthy of going home today. I've got that one bass, that's no monster. If I don't get in from this drift, I might drift this and cast over it. There seems to be a lot of fish loitering around it. Maybe they want something, you know, moving against swimming in mid-water as opposed to something sort of shooting up towards the surface. Who knows? Well, there's something you don't see every day. So much so, I'm not entirely sure what it is. They look like bloody great dolphins, but with white heads. And now they've gone. Camera's on, gone. Right, well, I might Where have they gone? Oh, there they are, right behind me. Wow. Moving ever so slowly. Yeah, I hope you can pick that up on this camera. I'll have to look that up when I get home, because they ain't your normal little cute dolphin that I'm used to seeing out here. Right, I'm going to cast all over this. I've changed out to a sidewinder, whatever it is, and I'm just going to cast about. Let it sink, cut and reel and draw. Got dolphins. See, that's what I'm used to seeing. Yeah, okay. Camera's on, dolphin's gone. That was one of those little cute ones that I'm used to seeing, with the sort of little stumpy dorsal fin. The ones earlier had huge dorsal fins and were substantially bigger than what I'm used to seeing. That was a hit. There's a fish on there, yes! Whoa, there's a fish. Should mention that this lure is responsible for my PB pollock. This ain't. This is better than I've had, but it's no monster. Yeah, this one. Oh. There's that wind. Whoa. What's it doing over there? Oh, what pollock do, is it? Or is it just the fact that I'm getting blown so fast? That is a pollock. It's a nice one, that. Wow. That's going to be a net job. Yeah, nice. Beauty. Whoa. Yay. That's a lovely fish. Look at this one. Ooh. Notice that lack of room all the time. Right, get that out of the way. Get this net. What's going on there? Put the net out of the way. Yeah, that's a beauty. There we go, folks. This one is going to be coming home for tea. Nice. Happy with that. I'm actually going to cheat a bit. Well, not cheat. Telling a fib. I actually told a fib. I'm going to do one more drift. But I'm taking the opportunity to go straight into this wind. So this is like a, well, 10, 12 knot wind. And thought I'd just see how this kayak goes into them. It's nice, it's just chopping through this surface chop. My fish bag up the front is actually deflecting a bit of the water away from me. Got so many fish there. It's stupid not to have a little. Would I? Yeah, I don't know, it's just loads of fish there. Maybe one more drift. Difficult to sort of drag yourself off the water if there's loads of fish marking. But then, you know, if there's loads of fish marking and you're just not getting any of them, it gets pretty frustrating. I got something else on now, another trusty lure. There's usually a few fish floating about on this bit. There's loads of fish. Oh, loads of fish. That's a hit. There's a fish on there. Yeah. Wow. That's shaking his head like mad. It's not huge. It's far from huge. That thrashed its head like I haven't felt in ages. Tiny pollock. Hungry pollock. Alright, yeah, calm down. Little pollock. Right. A bit of a random drift here. Just try a spot I don't really target very much. Change things up a little bit. Oh, that's a fish. Yes. I was reeling that in to change the lure. Oh no, dropped it. Put it back down. That was a hit. That's a hit. Hit. It's on there. That's not bad. Yes, that's a good fish. Well, it's not a whopper, but it's still pretty good. Still good fun. Grab him up. Right, come here. Pollock, not a huge one. Still nice to see. So I was thinking, actually, just a minute ago, I was looking at the time, thinking, well, it's still 2 hours to high tide, so what little tide there is today will be, you know, pushing probably now. Probably the best time. So as that wind just dialed off, and probably in the best time for, you know, the movement of the water, maybe now, maybe the fish are going to start waking up a bit. Right, another drift and some more rain. Fish, yes. Little pollock, wow. That little pollock completely nailed that lure. Look at that. It'll open up. Little pollock. Hungry little pollock. Right, it's only 10. High tide isn't till 11:45, so I'm going to run out to this other mark, one last spot, stretch the legs of this Revo a little bit, see what I can get out of it, and yeah, a couple of drifts there, then I'll head back in. So I'm against the tide, which isn't very big. I've got a wind coming across me here, and I'm doing 3.9. Yeah, 3.94, 4.1, 4. I mean, this is probably half and up. Well, I don't think I've ever done more than 4 in the compass. I'm putting in a fair bit of effort here to get this, but like I said, there is some tide as well against me. So if I dialed back, I'll dial back to a pace I think I could keep going at for a long, long time. I'm doing 3.5. 3.5 is pretty much flat out of the compass. Or it was, you know, it wasn't a sprint sort of speed, but you know, I'm going to get somewhere sort of effort. Yeah, so if I was on the compass today, I probably would have, well, I would have gone out over the right hand side there, over the main bit of the Manacles Reef, because the tides are relatively small and the currents aren't that savage on these smaller tides. So I would have liked to have done that, but like I said, first time on this thing, I want to sort of get to grips with it a little bit and get comfortable in it before I go too far. But it's happening, you know. I think I'm starting to get used to it a little bit. Felt very different to the compass when I first sat in this. I do think I will try and change maybe how I've got the rod holders and the fish finder, you know, trying to put them in different places and things. I think I'll have to do that. Could do with a couple of little like eyelets or something to clip various things I've got on my forceps and scissors, and my fish clubber is all usually clipped on, and I'd rather it was, to be fair, because it's the sort of thing that could easily be flicked over the side by a fish flapping around. Happy with my fish bag solution, how I've got that bungeed to the front. That seems to be okay. The what's it called? H crate in the back is the other way around. I've had to put it long ways. I don't think there's room for it to go widthways in the tank well of this kayak, which means I've got to sort of turn further to reach the rods, which is well, something I'll have to get used to. Right folks, I've had my last drift. I'm going to head back in and I'm going to just troll this lure along this edge of the reef here, and if I'm lucky might get a last minute bass, you never know. So yeah, maiden voyage for me on the Revo. Very different when I initially got in it. I'm kind of getting used to the different feel of it now. Space, obviously, you know, you've lost a lot of width, which really does make a big difference when you haven't really got that much room in the first place. So yeah, that is really noticeable on this. But the way in which it cuts into the waves and that is you know, that is also noticeably different and better. The effort it takes to move along is definitely less in this. You can notice it straight away. If you're interested in what I'm sitting on, what I'm using here, then I'll list it all in the description of the video along with the tackle I'm using. So yeah, be sure to check that out if you're interested, and also drop us a like and a subscription. Doesn't cost anything. If you're like my dad and you think subscription means it's going to cost you money, it doesn't on YouTube. So yeah, if you like the stuff, go for it. Thanks for joining me today.